Hello everyone and welcome to another Into the Void Row review. This time we are reviewing LongLegs. LongLegs is a Neon release which is kind of similar to A24 in how they release indie flicks that have been steadily gaining some acclaim of late. Their latest release, or at least the latest release that I'm going to review, is LongLegs. Something wicked this way comes. First things first, this movie has been out for almost a month now, so I'll be going into spoilers and things about the movie that could ruin your enjoyment of the film if you've not seen it yet. Be warned. Okay, let's get into it. LongLegs is about an elusive serial killer with a very unique way of disposing of his victims. You follow the FBI agent Lee Harker, played by Micah Monroe, as she tries to solve the case behind the serial killer known as LongLegs. LongLegs is unique in that he is a serial killer that doesn't really participate in the actual murders. He seems to influence them in a way that seems like witchcraft or something more akin to magic. It's made clear that if you had to correlate any resemblance to any other killer, it would be the infamous Charles Manson. The killers share the same obsession with Satanism, which makes the murders associated with LongLegs the creepier, more gruesome to behold. A lot of the film follows Lee Harker as she tries to piece together how exactly LongLegs is able to exhibit control over his victims. She has a personal stake in the case in that she is someone who has some association with the killer. You see, she was visited by him back when she was a young girl. It is something that happens in the opener of the film. However, she really has no remembrance of him as someone she has met throughout the whole film until a revelation happens in the third act. By the way, the film is actually split up into 3 parts that are similar to how a novel would be constructed. I'm not sure if this is based on a novel, by the way, or not, but back to Lee Harker, because she seems to have an almost supernatural ability to know where LongLegs is at any given time. She has a unique intuition or link with the infamous killer. On top of it, you find out that she has a somewhat constrained relationship with her mother. Her mother does not seem well, which is apparent throughout the phone calls between her and her daughter. Could she have some link with LongLegs as well? This is the basis of the movie, and it is interesting, but what about the killer with the weird moniker of her name? Any good movie about a serial killer has to have a unique premise about them that drives the film forward. You gotta want to know more about the main villain, otherwise everything suffers without that premise. And I have to say that before I saw the movie, I was aware that Nicolas Cage was in it and most likely the actual actor behind the killer in this movie. The performance by him in this role is notably creepy, and yes, it is one of his best. The scenes with him are among the strongest, even if there are few and far between. This is a movie that is a slow burn with actors talking as if sedated. It's not bad. I feel it's just understated, and that's okay. I like how this movie builds suspense and dread throughout all 3 chapters. With every new scene, the plot thickens and a thread is pulled to unmask what is really going on behind the scenes. You learn of LongLegs' obsession with making dolls that resemble the girls he preys upon, the significance of their birthdays being on the 14th of the month, and the crimes happening within 6 days of those birthdays. It all pieces together little by little, and then you learn of Lee Harker's mother being an accomplice to these murders, which ties it all back to that fateful day that she encountered the serial killer known as LongLegs when she took a photo of him on that cold, snowy day back when she was just a young girl herself. The photo that holds the key to it all. The photo that brings it all back to her like some long-forgotten dream when she goes back to visit her mom. I like these kinds of movies that manage to keep you invested, stringing you along just enough to want to know what happens next. The sense of dread is palpable throughout. It's not about jump scares or about a murderer who kills his victims in all kinds of unbelievable ways, like the slasher flick in A Violent Nature that came out earlier this year. If you want some of that, go see that movie. That has plenty of that. But this is about a killer that manipulates from behind the scenes using supernatural means to infect people's minds and make them do the bidding of the man downstairs, this film's name for the devil. That in mind makes it all the more sinister. However, the fact that he uses dolls as a conduit to make the fathers kill their families and then kill themselves may be an altogether weak link or far-fetched notion. The ending may be the weak link here because there's things that don't add up in a resolute way. It's a little messy and not defined. What is defined is the look of the film. It's stark and cold, further enhancing the tone. You have a feeling that something isn't right with the characters involved as well as the environment itself. The tone is well placed and it's not one that shifts much. Consistency is this film's strong suit. It doesn't have high highs or low lows. It's even kill throughout. Thus, it gets a moderate score of a 7 out of 10 from me. Worth watching, but you could probably wait to see it when it streams. Guys, this has been another review, and I hope you enjoyed it. like and subscribe. Let me know what you felt about the film. Did you like it or not like it? See you again when we venture in the void.